Okay, thank you very much, all of you, to come to this session, and welcome. We will talk about climate neutrality and positive energy districts. So in 4 presentations, we'll give you a look of different European projects. We'll start with Pocityf, then INCUBE, response, and I will finish with Neutralpath and how we address this climate neutrality with the scope 2 and 3 from carbon footprint and all these technologies and solutions that we are addressing in this project. So please feel free to discuss a little bit, not only just a talk and information I give you, but in the end also we will open a short discussion and questions. Okay, thank you. The first presentation is going to give from my colleague Maggie. She is from EDP and she will start presenting the project Pocityf. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello everyone. As David said, I'm Maggie. I work at EDP New. We are a research center inside the EDP group. That it's an energy company in Portugal. And one of our projects is Pocityf, the European project. This project is about energy communities and turning the cities into smart cities. But the cities that we are considering in the project are heritage protected cities, so we have a kind of different challenges than the normal projects, let's say. So the Pocityf project. Our goal with this project is to have positive energy blocks or positive energy districts. So we need to have more production than consumption in these locations. And as I said, they are historical protected cities, and we want to improve the energy efficiency and work in topics related to citizen engagement and overall improve the well-being of the citizens that live in this city. So the project is a really big project. It's a 5-year project. We have 46 partners, 13 European countries, and we are the coordinators as well. We have 2 lighthouse cities, one in Évora in Portugal. We are also doing the site management of the Évora pilot. And then we have Alkmaar in the Netherlands, and we have 6 different cities around Europe. And so, as you can see in the map. So we focus on historical cities. We have legal barriers to overcome. Replication potential, it's our goal. We want everything that we are doing in the project to continue after the time of the project. And we want to improve the lifestyle of the citizens that live in the cities. So we have 5 different aspects, like the political, urbanistic, social, technological, and economic. Why do we have the political? Because we have a lot of legislation that protects the cities that we are working on, and we have to have a direct connection with the municipalities and with the laws, and we had to have a lot of discussions about the solutions that we wanted to implement. In the previous presentation that I did in the morning, I think some of you were there, I talked about the building integrated photovoltaics, that it's one of our main solutions. I didn't repeat that content in this presentation, but I believe that it's recorded if you want to see. In the community solar farm, those 2 innovative elements that we have in the project are the ones that will allow us to have the positivity in these regions. So we have all the solutions divided in 4 energy transition tracks. The first one is positive energy buildings and districts, where we have home energy management systems, energy hooters, smart inverters. We have the flexible infrastructure. We are testing the installation of second life batteries. Citizen-driven social innovation through workshops. We are organizing workshops in Portugal and in Europe to make the students already aware of the problems that we are facing now. And we have e-mobility through the installation of EV charging. So I will start with Évora, one of our lighthouse cities. Évora, it's a protected city. We have around 50,000 inhabitants. And it's the only Portuguese city that is a member of the oldest European city network. So the historical center don't even allow citizens to install PV panels in their houses. That's why we want to implement a community solar farm outside the city, so that we can decrease the disadvantage of someone living in the city center compared to the other ones. We have 3 different paths, so 3 different regions where we want to be positive: the city center, a rural area, it's called Valverde, and the industrial park. In the city center, I think it's the most interesting path, and I believe that the main takeaways of the project will be taken from this path because it's actually where we have the restrictions. In Valverde, it's really easy in a way to implement an energy community because it's really small, all the houses are really close to each other. In the Portuguese legislation, we have a rule that says that all the houses inside the community need to be at a maximum distance of 2 kilometers, and this area, all the houses are inside that area, so it's easy in a way. In an industrial park, we have other challenges because we have companies that have a high production, and so when we are talking about establishing energy communities, even though we are implementing a PV park in each one of those, we don't know yet if we will have a surplus of energy to exchange between the buildings. So this is the EVRA pilot. And now I will show some solutions, particular solutions that we are developing in the project. Home energy management systems are being developed by Ineshktech, that it's a partner of the consortium of the project, and this will allow the data acquisition when they are connected to smart meters and also to a mobile app to allow citizens to visualize their data and to be more aware of what they are consuming and producing. These systems will be implemented in the 11 clients that we have in the city center. These clients have PV panels because they installed before the legislation came out. So at the moment, a person that buys a house in the city center can no longer implement PV panels, but these one were lucky because at that time they didn't have that restriction, and so they are inside the project as well. The pay-as-you-throw solution, it's being developed by a partner called UbiWare. So this aims to change the behavior of the people. So nowadays in Portugal, we pay a tariff connected to the waste that it's included in the water tariff. And we are trying to install containers in the city center. Citizens will have a card and they will throw the waste there. So it's a way of making them or forcing them to recycle to decrease the amount of waste. They can gain points because of that. And in an optimal condition, they just pay for what they put in the containers. So I think it's pretty interesting, and it has a lot of opportunities for gamification. That's also a part that we have in the project. Then the second life batteries, like I talked, we have 10 clients in Valverde. Actually, we engaged 36 clients, but 10 will receive second life batteries that will be connected to algorithms, optimal algorithms, and also an application for the mobile phone, where they will gain batteries for free, basically, and we will be able to test a new technology of batteries with cooling systems, and hopefully we will implement a platform that we are developing that is the peer-to-peer platform. This is a topic that has been talked a lot yesterday and today, and this will help them reducing the cost of electricity. The Tourist Mobile App, it's an application that is being developed by a partner called Uninova from Lisbon, and this will make the engagement with the tourists, and they will make optimal routes for the tourists to save time and to be able to visit the most interesting points that we have in the city, basically. This optimization will be based on the distance from one place to the other, and also through the time of the visits, so that it can be as efficient as possible. And this will also be included in the gamification platform that we are developing, so the tourists can gain points and they can buy souvenirs from the local stores in Évora. So I think it's pretty interesting as well. The second lighthouse city that we have, it's Alkmaar in the Netherlands. So Alkmaar, it's a little bit bigger than Évora. It has approximately double the inhabitants of Évora, but it's much smaller. And they are known as being sustainable. The Netherlands, all of them are known for that, for the project that they have. And they have 17 provincial monuments, about 400 national monuments, 1,000 municipal monuments, and 32 windmills. So this is the picture of Alkmaar. They have 5 Pocityf energy blocks. I will not say the names because I don't know how to say the names in Dutch. But basically they are aiming to reach the positivity as well in each one of these 5 blocks. And they are shown they will show about 50 innovative elements as well. Most of them are really similar to Évora. But actually, for example, the peer-to-peer that I was talking about, we discovered that Alkmaar is having a lot of troubles implementing the peer-to-peer because they have a net metering scheme, and so they don't have any incentive to exchange electricity between houses. So that's one of the solutions that I think we only showed in the Evra pilot. So the Ment, it's a sport complex that they have. They have a gym inside, they have an ice rink, and they have a really high energy consumption. But before the Pocityf project, they already installed a lot of solar panels. With the project, they are hoping to change the natural gas for heating with renewable sources. They want to increase the renewable energy production, and they are changing the thermal energy system all over the building. The second building is the high-rise Von Wart high-rise. This is owned by Von Wart. It's an 11-story building with 130 dwellings. And as part of Pocityf, they are changing the materials for insulation, and they are equipping the building as well with solar PV production. Alkmaar has not been visited yet, so the project started in 2019, and hopefully in September we will have a general assembly, and we will be able to see all of these solutions in the ground already. They have other non-building related innovative elements like the smart lamp posts. They can use that for boats or for electrical vehicles. They have a noise barrier that actually has PV modules, so it's a solution with a double function. And they also are trying to implement hydrogen vehicles. I think it's mainly for buses. This is a quote that the site manager from Alkmaar showed in the General Assembly. I thought it was really funny. There is no negative energy that resists positive people, because we try to be positive as well, like working in Pocityf project. And so this is all from my side. Thank you very much. Don't know if you have any questions. Yeah.
How do you manage to, I don't know if it's implemented already, but how do you think you can manage people to throw the waste in the bin and not just in front of the bin?
We are kind of forcing them because we are taking the others from there. So
yeah, but you could live just in front.
Yeah. So, but we are doing. We are trying to trust people in that regard as well, because we believe that the people that we are engaging want really to be part of the project. So your question is, how do we know if they are going to the smart bin or to the normal bin? And then they are, we don't know in reality, but we are trying to choose the right people to be part of the project.
Any other questions? So you can discuss later. Thank you, Maggie.
Okay.
So the next presenter is my colleague Danny, who comes from Circe and works in INCUBE project. In this project, we are developing an energy community based on positive energy districts. So please, Danny, whenever you want.
Hi everyone. As David has said, I'm Daniel Galera from Circe. I'm going to present the INCUBE project, most specifically the configuration of the positive energy district for the neighborhood perspective. What I try with this presentation is to focus on how we should get closer to the inhabitants in order to win their confidence or commitment to sign an energy community contract. So basically, I'm going to present a neighborhood presentation that we developed last week. But before, I'm going to introduce the project in a bit. Then I'm going to talk about at what point are we in the development of the project, and then I'm going to go through each of the more relevant elements that we are playing in the building, from the prefabricated modular facade to the renewable energy sources, because this last one has the more constraints and comments from them. So the introduction, the INCUBE project brings together 24 partners of 7 European countries from 3 demo sites, Italy, Netherlands, and Spain. I'm going to focus in the last one in Spain because we are working hand to hand with the inhabitants and we know better how they are working. I want to have a quick view on how is the district. It's a private-owned district of low-income inhabitants, which is only 4 portals of about 80 portals. So it has really high level of replication possibilities. So we have some social networks and web that you could visit in order to see how are we going in the project. And well, when we go through the point that we are in this commitment of the inhabitants, we have the startup meeting in March, and we conquered some achievements. Like, for example, we ordered the technical documentation. We make agreements regarding the solution of the elevator, because as you could see before, the buildings are really old and doesn't have any accessibility measures for the inhabitants that are also elder people. So we are also working with the following up commission, sharing with them the advance of the project and compilation the documents for requesting some next generation funds. So here you can see that we have done some following up commissions in order to have a direct contact between neighborhoods and techniques, but we select the neighborhood representatives of the blocks to have a teamwork compilation and their suggestions and preferences in the buildings that are later explained in detail to the rest of the neighborhood. So we are doing some progress in the next generation funds application. We are already trying to reach the program 5 application, which is the building book and the project. We have Metro 7 as an architectural team that's working on the technical documentation and also the administrative documentation that is being achieved by the community. So all of this information is centralized in the Zaragoza Vivienda municipality, which send it to the renovation office, also located in the district, and to the official colleges in order to transmit them. So here we show them some advance that we have done already. We have the 3D model done, the energy certificate of the current state of the buildings, reports justifying this request for program 5, and also some rehabilitation proposals. Then we show to them the innovative methodologies that they could see in this time, like, for example, the scanning and the drone flight that lead us to developing of the 3D modeling really accurately and precise. Then when we go to the rehabilitation proposals, we have 3 main points. But in this moment, I'm going to focus on the improvement of energy efficiency and also in the improvement of accessibility, because it's part of this energy use of the district. And I'm not going to center on the conservation improvement that can be made in the district as well. So then we show them the new solution for the lift. We fold down the existing stair and we developed a new block that's outside of the facade, with a line stair that have direct access to the buildings. Then we saw with them some of the renders that we have done in order to achieve their aesthetical requirements and their decisions, because they have different decisions to develop the way that we should do the rehabilitation works. So, and as next step, we have the presentation of the basic project to the Zaragoza City Council. Here we are going to review all the project in order to have their approval and that the project complies with municipal regulations. And also during summer, we're going to start with the monitoring of the existing stage to have the future results or to compare how much the energy consumption has been reduced during this time. And also by the end of the summer, we expect to have the execution project ready to be executed. So as the element that we are applying in the building, we have first the prefab module facade. We wanted to show to the inhabitants that we are not changing the aesthetic of the building, and we are trying to continue with the materiality and with the original compositional lines that are part of the building. And this is also a requirement from the city council, so we are online. And we also explain them how the 3D scanning leads us to the right developing of the prefab elements and the different types that are being modeled in a millimetric precision. So then we show them the different finishing that the insulation has the best quality and that is really an innovative product that is going to be really important for them, and also some prototypes that we have applied in the project. Finally, in the terms of the renewable energy solution, that's the one that is more important for us. We show them how it's going to be the electrical scheme of the dwellings, how the 70% of the total number of panels is going to be photovoltaic, but the 30% are going to be hybrid, that combine electricity and domestic hot water. Then the electricity is going to be sent to the elevator and also to self-consumption of the homes, while the domestic hot water is going to be collected in a deposit and also distributed to all homes equally. So about the hybrid solar panel solution, that they were really aware of it, we need to show them the differences between different types of panels and what is the best efficiency model that is already in the market. It was really important to them to show these ratios because they were looking for the best production, of course. And also some key benefits of these panels, like the double production, this premium quality that is made in Zaragoza as well, so they were really happy with it. Also the greater savings and the less CO2 emissions in the production of them. We also wanted to show some successful stories in other neighborhood communities, most of them in Zaragoza, but also some of them in other cities like Gijón or Oviedo. And the keys to the proper functioning of this technology. For example, that we have to develop, and we are developing a good sizing, that the combination of photovoltaics and hybrid leads to the better combination. That also has, these modules have dissipation systems that avoid temperature problems with the panels, and also that we have monitoring and maintenance. So we also wanted to see that the monitoring is really important, and they don't need to be aware of the status of their panels, since these panels have temperature alert and a real reaction margin for the installation safety. And also that the owner saves real money with the installation. We also share an interface of their monitoring system that they are going to be possible to see in real time about their production, and also the results in a monthly basis. But this is not really relevant unless you speak with them about the savings. So we, with this study, we expect to address a 77% of reduction in the domestic hot water consumption, and also in the electricity about 59%. In terms of the maintenance, that the temperature is measured every day, and it's also recommendable to go up the roof and carry out visual inspection and planning. But it doesn't cost too much, about 4 hours per home a month. So with it, we passed through the energy community. First of all, they didn't know exactly what was an energy community, so we need to explain in a brief way, in a simple way, what it is that has its objective, that is the benefit gained from a single solar energy generation installation. Which are the elements that compone this installation: the photovoltaic panels and also the inverter. And then, which is the process with this consumption, from the energy capture to the cell consumption, the disposal of surpluses, and then if it's not enough, we have the network energy consumption. This was really relevant for them, because they need to know what happens with the production when there is no sun. So we give them this graphic where they could see that in the hours of sun they consume less than they produce, so they will be benefit from them. And also in the hours without sun, they are going to consume from the network. Again, a simple schematic of the installation, and then we need to explain that this, for example, this elevator that's going to be applied in the building is not going to cost more maintenance cost for the inhabitants. So all the priority is given to this elevator consumption. And then the rest of the energy is distributed equally to all the houses. Again, with a schematic of this production. And then we need to say that they have the same percentage of the production, but the savings are not going to be the same because they have different circumstances. For example, the type of consumption, the individual heating and water system that they have in each house, and also the price at which each home pays for electricity, which is on the specific contracts. So, for example, they will lead to some portals will have surpluses, while others less savings. Just a conclusion on all the homes receive the same contribution, but the savings will be different, to be clear. And then we left the floor to the bill, where we could see how this production is going to be compensated in the electricity bill, and how the surpluses are going to be applied. Finally, we go through the process of installation, taking care of everything from the start to finish, so they don't need to worry about nothing. The INCUBE team will take care from the approval to the designing, administrative, installation, commissioning, and consumption. Finally, we finish with some frequently asked questions that were really relevant in other following up commissions and stuff like that. And with it, we conquered just their achievement, and we are going to develop this energy community in the near future. So thank you, everyone.
specific one. With the drones coming, you mentioned you made a model, but it was a big model or just an image?
No, a BIM model, yeah. We transferred this scam to a BIM model by a verification process, and we started with it as a point cloud, and then we developed the 3D model.
Okay.
Thank you, Danny. We can continue with another European project, which is a real project that we are developing in 2 lighthouses in Dijon and Turku cities. And then my colleague Eva, she will tell us about a resume about the different innovations and the progress of the project. Please, Eva.
Thank you. Hi everyone, it's nice to have you here. As David has said, well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Seguridad, and I work in Circe as a project engineer, as a project manager. And one of the projects I'm involved in right now is Response, which is very related with the topic of the workshop of today, climate neutrality and positive energy districts. And well, I have structured the presentation in these 4 points. First of all, I will give you just a brief overview about the project, and later I will present more information about the main actors in the project and its main goals, the key activities, the expected results, and the progress of the different activities. Well, what about Response project? Response stands for Integrated Solution for Positive Energy and Resilient Cities, and it's a 5-year project funded by the European Commission and the Horizon 2020 program, and it's still ongoing. It started in October 2020, and it will finish at the end of 2025. So it supports 2 lighthouse cities, Turku in Finland and Dijon in France. And there are 6 more cities, so-called fellow cities: Brussels in Belgium, Zaragoza in Spain, Botoșani in Romania, Polymaida in Greece, Gagrovo in Bulgaria, and Severodonetsk in Ukraine. And the project promote them into the definition of a smart cities energy transition strategies and the development of the positive energy districts to achieve the very ambitious goal of climate neutrality by 2050. And the way to achieve this goal, or how the Response proposed to get this goal, is by means of the implementation of innovative solutions and creative novel business model to promote the upskilling and the replication of this solution all over Europe and beyond, if possible. So the strategy, or the energy transition strategy that the project proposes, lies in 5 main pillars, or so-called transformation axes, the ones in dark blue. And this one are or consist of 10 integrated solutions, and likewise these 10 integrated solutions are composed of 93 innovative elements, different technologies, tools, and methods. And the project, during the project, they have to be implemented in the fellow cities, in the different positive energy districts, and they are also have to be measured, monitored, and evaluated by means of specific key performance indicators defined within the project as well. So what about the lighthouse cities and the integrated solution that they have to implement throughout the project? Well, as I commented, the two lighthouse cities are Dijon in France and Turku. And the main objectives of these cities within the project is improve significantly the local renewable energy penetration, the energy savings, the reduction of emissions, and the demonstration of some smart city solution and promoting this solution all over Europe or in some other areas of the cities. More specifically, what Dijon expects from the project. Well, the city wants to create one positive energy district with 10 positive energy buildings and 6 positive car parks. They want to create smart city platforms based on digital technology to accelerate the energy transition. They want to involve citizens to be committed with the goal of the project. And of course, they want to achieve the goal of carbon neutrality by 2050. Very similar in the case of Turku. They want to create one positive energy district with 5 positive energy buildings within, increase the partnership or the relationship between all the stakeholders, increase the awareness of the sustainable energy production and consumption, promoting local replication in other areas of the city, and of course, achieve the goal of neutral or carbon neutrality by 2050. So here you are, the timetable with the progress of the different or main activities that these lighthouse cities have to conduct throughout the project. So as you can hear, we are right now halfway of the project. So there are some activities finished, but some others are in progress or not even started. So I'll give you some update of the progress of these different activities. Regarding the first one, both cities have already defined or selected the most promising district to implement all the solutions. In case of Dijon and Turku, this activity is finished, and the cities have also defined or select the different innovative elements they want to implement in this demo within each one of the 5 transformation axes and innovative solutions. Here you have the related ones about increase the positive energy building systems, the ones related to improve the decarbonization of the local energy supply and improve the smartification of the grids, the ones promoting the novel storage energy to provide flexibility in the energy systems, the ones related to the integration and interconnection of the creation of city information platforms or integration of electric mobility in the grid in the city, and finally the ones for promoting the citizen participation and engagement, and the ones related to ensure city resilience, social justice, and safety. So once the city have defined or select the demo sites and the innovative element interesting for being implemented, the next step is the implementation itself. This activity is almost finished. They are right now refining some installations, some things, but most of them are finished. And here you are some examples of the different solutions implemented. For instance, PV panels in the roofs of some buildings or in the parking lots for the production of electricity, the installation of 5G smart city lighting poles, creation of microgrids, different novel storage system based on PCM tanks, for instance, for optimizing the energy flows or maximize the self-consumption. And other solutions like the conventional building retrofitting by replacing windows and improving thermal insulation, replacement of the energy installation, but with other ones more efficient, like district cooling and heating systems, or human comfort control thermostats more efficient. Some other examples about some engagement activities with the citizens to empower them and to give them information and involve them in this commitment, or some creation of digital solution based on graphic or different tools for interconnect the city and the citizens as well. And other activity finished, which has been in parallel done, is the definition of the more suitable KPIs, key performance indicators, to measure all the monitoring upcoming of this solution to perform the achievements or the performance of this solution throughout the project. So based on the objectives of the monitoring and the kind of data available from this upcoming monitoring, these KPIs were defined, and also different fact sheets with all the information about how to calculate them, or the information required, and so on. And the rest of the activities are still pending to be finished or to be started. For instance, the stage for conducting all the monitoring activities, creating all the framework for the collection of all the data from the different buildings or devices, establish all the calculation required for the KPIs, and the programming the visualization dashboards for these KPIs. And both cities are working on this right now. We have made some approaches, initial approaches, but I'm very different between them because depending on the context of the city. But the city has to work more on this in the next months. Some examples of dashboards for the visualization of the KPIs, the results. And the final stage of the project, not started yet, will be the assessment of the evaluation of all the results obtained with this monitoring and these KPIs, using or creating a methodology framework to evaluate the achievements of the project and the performance of this solution under 4 dimensions, not only technical, but also environmental, social, and financial. What are the next steps for the fellow cities then? Continue with the monitoring and demonstration phase, consolidate the experience gain and lesson learned, evaluate the performance and achievements of the demos under the different innovative solutions implemented, develop feasibility studies to investigate different areas suitable for this replication in some other areas of the city or another cities within the country. And of course, establish or draw up the document with the master plan of the city for the replication in short and long term, in a realistic way, to deploy all of these solutions in different ways to get the city neutrality goal by 2050. So what about the fellow city and his role? The activities are quite a bit different from the fellow cities, lighthouse cities. In this case, they don't have to implement anything, but they have to conduct feasibility studies about how to make it real, their replication of this, or the most suitable solution within this context by 2050. So the different fellow cities will have to conduct feasibility studies from technical, economical, social, and regulatory perspective to identify the most suitable innovative solution in his case, based on the expertise of the lighthouse, but adapted to the local ecosystem according to the needs of the city. They also have to identify the other potential districts for the replication, identify the stakeholders, citizen participatory tools, and business models to conduct all of this, and as well draw up the document with all the explanation of the roadmap for the city to get the goal of neutrality by 2050 to trigger the replication of these solutions. So this is the timetable of the different activities. Some of them are finished, but other ones are pending to be finished or started. So I would like to present the status of these activities in the case of Zaragoza. So the city, the first activity is finished. The city has already defined the two most suitable positive energy districts to implement or to study the implementation of some solutions, which are Pasos de Proviejo, which is a neighborhood built in the 60s, with residents with very little social integration and economic resources. And the city expects to transform this neighborhood into a first positive one, retrofitted, as an example to replicate in the same way in other similar neighborhoods of the city. And the other positive energy district to study is Utopia Park, which is an underused area in the way of transit of hundreds of citizens. And the city expects to transform it in a digital space interconnected with different parts of the city for citizen awareness and interaction. Well, other activity finished in Zaragoza is the analysis of the local regulation readiness for the solution implementation. And the conclusion of this study was these four most suitable solution for the replication. In this case, the installation of renewable energies in building level, the use or the implementation of smart ready building construction solutions for the retrofitting, creating city information platforms, and some activities to enhance city participation and empowerment. So based on this conclusion, the city selected the most suitable ones for both of the PED selected. In case of Pasos de Proviejo, the installation or the study or the feasibility study for the installation of conventional PV panels on roofs and public spaces, the retrofitting activities of the envelope of the buildings, and the installation of novel system for heating, cooling, and lighting, and establish collective energy self-consumption. And in the case of Utopia, the city is studying the installation of 5G smart cities lighthouse poles and conduct different ideathons or co-creation events with the citizens. So, well, the rest of the activities are in progress right now. Just some examples of the progress in, for instance, the creation of the framework, the stakeholders involved in this replication, the relationship between them, and establishing the roles and all the economic communication. Some examples as well about the main or the initial barrier and risk identification in different topics, technical, social, regulatory, and financial, but the city has to work more on this. Some examples of some feasibility studies conducted right now, but they also have to conduct more in the economic point of view, not only technically, and for all solutions selected. And some examples of some of the workshops conducted so far, but more ones will be launched approximately. And regarding the next steps of the specific case of Zaragoza, to continue with the feasibility studies for all the innovative solutions for both PETs, define the stakeholder structure and roles, and consolidate all the communication between the stakeholders, conduct more citizen events in climate and energy issues, start working on thinking about how to define novel business models, integrating technical, economic, and social approaches, explore as well new funding opportunities or to make real all this implementation, and finally, of course, to draw up the document with the master plan for the replication roadmap of the city by 2050. So this is all I want to present you today. So if you have some questions or comments you want to express, you are welcome.
Yeah. Any comment, question, or not? No. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Because I noticed that one of your own cities is in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I was really curious about how it went with your.
Basically, the roadmap is the reconstruction again of the city. They have a paper empty to develop from the very beginning everything. So yeah,
They haven't been able to implement anything basically.
very little things, of course, but they fortunately they are far away from these unfortunate events. So yeah, they're trying to make their most.
But maybe it has to be adjusted for them or something like the goals or.
Yeah. They have to adapt all of this in this context right now.
Thank you. Any comment? I will finish the session just summarizing a little bit all the concepts. We will discuss it about, or we will talk about energy, but in this case, I'm going to put the focus on climate neutrality. And when we think about climate neutrality, we need to measure not only direct emissions, which is okay, and all projects made this exercise, but also to implement a scope 2, which is the first part of the indirect emissions. Then, in the future, think about the scope 3. For those who are dealing with carbon footprint, you know that the scope 3 is most challenging, let's say, exercise. But in this case, it is necessary if we think about the life cycle of the buildings and the life cycle of the districts in this case. So we all aware about the role of the buildings at European level. Let's say that all the residential and commercial buildings has a bigger responsibility in terms of energy consumption and CO2 emissions at European level. Then in the European Union, there is set a lot of regulation and environmental goals just to put the focus on reducing the consumption and the direct related CO2 emissions. But in some ways, they are forbidden the last part, which is the indirect emissions. To do that, the priority right now is to refurbish those existing buildings, let's say reduce this consumption and direct emissions, but also there is to put the focus on the positive energy buildings. Let's say those who, for sure, produce more energy than consumes, But in this case, we are going to a little step further, adding CO2 emissions, but a little bit in the next slide, just to put the focus on a, let's say, ideal building, which is the line here, which is a life cycle zero energy building, which means that, let's say, it is neutral during the whole life cycle in terms of energy. If we compare the annual energy use, which is this axis, and this one, the embodied energy, we can find on the top the typical buildings right now. Buildings that needs more energy than in comparison to the embodied energy. If we want to reduce this comparison, let's say to go to a low energy building, we need to increase the numbers of technology, probably renewable energy ones. So the point is going to go more to the right, but it will decrease the energy consumption. If we go to a very low energy building, or those that we will want to have, which is the nearly zero energy buildings, we will be next to here, where the primary energy, let's say, use is nearly zero, but we increase the number of embodied energy. We put insulations, we put PV panels, biomass boilers, energy districts, and so on. So we increase the embodied energy in the buildings just to reduce the use. This is the European Commission directive, which is focused on the reduction of the energy consumption. What is the next? Be positive. Let's say, in this point, we want to produce more than we need. So to do that, we need to increase more embodied energy. Let's say, I'm going to take the roof from my neighbor. I'm going to take the roof from the school or other, let's say, infrastructures in the city. But I'm going to be positive, but increasing the embodied energy. Okay? So if we go to that direction, there are a lot of indirect, let's say, assumptions and topics that we should address, which is in the next slide, which is the production of materials. Now we are thinking, okay, if we are going to increase the embodied energy, at least we need to use, let's say, low energy and carbon materials. At least we need that the energy and material consumption during the construction is lower than the traditional ones. So we are putting the focus on the construction process, drones, ICT, and so on. We are putting all the, let's say, the efforts on the refurbishment, because we need to refurbish more than we need to construct new ones, buildings, and the use of necessary natural resources. So we are moving in this energy transition from, let's say, fossil fuels to renewable energy ones in terms of the use of this energy for the production of materials and, for sure, the consumption of the buildings. So new concepts arise from this reflection, which is reuse and recycling. Let's say, to put the focus on eco-design, let's design the products thinking on the end of life, okay? To minimize all the transportations, let's say, to use local products as much as we can, for sure, and in line promoting the use of the resources in the local areas, okay? So the next slide puts a focus on that. Let's say, life cycle thinking approach not only put the focus on the use phase, which is to reduce the energy consumption or to produce more energy, but also put the focus on the other stages as the production, construction, and the end of life. Okay, this is a exercise that we are doing in a European project, which is called Rinno. Rinno projects put the focus on the refurbishment of buildings, low carbon emissions embodied in the production, the process of the retrofitting, which is to put the focus on the planning and design, let's say, put in some sensors, monitoring, and so on to reduce the energy consumption in this process, and then to work with all the key stakeholders, let's say, to make them part of the refurbishment. But this is a good solution, but we need to go further. This is the case of Neutralpath, which is the next one, which is more focused on a specific concept. We need positive energy districts, but we need positive clean energy districts, which is the big concept there. Please, Danny. The clean one, now we are talking that not pets, but pea seeds, because we have the clean concept. The next one, we want to be a district which is participative and human-centered, let's say, thinking about the necessities, the real necessities of the inhabitants. And for sure, we need to be cost-effective and feasible in terms of solutions that is going to be installed in the districts. Finally, in one direction, which is climate neutrality. And climate neutrality, as I said, includes not only scope 2, which is directly related to the emissions in European Union, which is the next slide, put the focus on climate neutrality. They select hundreds of cities around European Union to reach the climate neutrality by 2030. It's very ambitious. Zaragoza and Dresden, which are part of this project, has this goal. They are setting a climate city contract. Climate city contract includes this goal, but also includes the goal to be an example to those cities that are not included in the emissions to be neutral by 2050. So this is very ambitious goal, and a way to reach it is part of Neutralpath. So in this case, we are working with Zaragoza and Dresden, as I said, both cities in the city's mission, but we have some followers as in the same of response, which you can here see, Istanbul, Ghent, Banta, that they will promote the different solutions that we will, let's say, test in Zaragoza and Dresden, and they will design those PCs in terms of, let's say, to promote the climate neutrality at the city. In the next slide, I just will summarize which action we will do in Zaragoza. In Zaragoza, we have 2 big building blocks. Those are residential blocks that we will install some PV facade solution, not only at the roof, but the facade, which is quite innovative. We want to put a small energy thermal district. At the beginning, we thought about the biomass. Biomass is not a really good solution here in Spain because all the prices are increasing and, well, logistics are quite difficult here. But we will use low temperature energy district that uses heat pumps from air water and air with some aerothermal sources. We will complement this positive energy district with some PV panels in the roofs there on the surroundings. We have a school, another public school, and this a kindergarten. So we want to share this energy among those buildings. What we will do in Dresden? In Dresden, because the configuration of the city, there are 2 different zones that we will add. Basically, we will work with the low temperature energy district. They will use waste energy to preheat the installations. And they will work specifically with the electricity community in terms to use this electricity, let's say, remindings on the PV chargers for electric mobility. Okay? Therefore, just in a nutshell, which is what is Neutralpath, we want to work in 2 cities. We want to develop 2 different climate city contracts to put the focus on the governance and put the focus on the citizens. We want to develop some, let's say, laboratories with them. We will work on these city laboratories with the people. We will decide the solutions and configurations. Therefore, we will demonstrate that it is feasible to be positive and also neutral in terms of CO2 emissions. How we will do that? In this case, thinking about the different scopes of carbon footprint. This is a general scope, let's say, with direct emissions, which is the scope 1, and indirect emissions in the scope 2, more related to electricity and the energy that we buy, and the scope 3, which are all the upstream processes and the downstream processes. Okay. Here in Neutralpath, we will think in scope 1 and scope 2, which is the next slide, thinking about on the basis of an energy balance. This is an example of an energy balance in Zaragoza. If you want to check the numbers, are quite good in terms of the energy consumption, but we are adding the scope 1, which is the emissions factor of the different fuels that we are using. In this case, natural gas, biomass, and that's it. And in the scope 2, all the electricity that we will produce with the facades and the roofs, and also the energy that we will buy from the thermal energy district. So this is included in the scope 2. But the idea is to pass from this, which is the, let's say, more common balance in terms of energy, including those emissions. But if we want to go further, just having a recap of this image. If we want to go further in here, we want to produce more than we are, let's say, using. We need to include those indirect categories if we want to go to further in the scope 3. So those are the scope 3, let's say, indirect categories that we should include, which are the production of the materials, let's say, the CO2 emissions embodied in the materials, the energy and material consumption during the construction. This is the first concept, as I said at the beginning, which is more related to the refurbishment, including the transportation of those materials. And urban mobility plays a really interesting role in this question, because it is like a, let's say, a possibility to reduce with avoided emissions from the network. So this is very interesting when you want to have the balance in terms of CO2 emissions. You can use urban mobility to reduce these, let's say, avoided emissions. In this case, just to summarize with some conclusions. The first one, we need to work on the LCA of products, not only on the carbon footprint, which is nice, life cycle assessment of products in terms of CO2 emissions, but also going further with environmental product declarations. Environmental product declarations will give us the, let's say, the picture of our products to play in this game. So for those producers, environmental product declarations should be mandatory if you want to play in this kind of projects. Digitalization, it's a key, digital twins, to work with BIM, to work with ICT and monitoring, let's say, to assure that our buildings are being positive and climate neutral, that the balance is okay. We need to monitor it. So we need some standards to see if their solutions are working and if we are reaching our goals. So in this kind of projects, for sure, we need a part of digitalization, but in the end, in terms of carbon footprint, we need to increase the scope. We need to go for scope 3. So next projects that probably you will join in the next calls of the European Union should go in that direction. So to include scope 3 at urban level, not only at the district. So we need to work with the municipalities. Municipalities should be a key player in this kind of projects, and to work with suppliers. Those suppliers that are not in the boundaries of the cities, let's say those products that come from China or other countries, we need to put the focus on them, not only on our inhabitants, but on the suppliers, because we need to reduce the energy and the CO2 emissions that plays in our bond. So those are the main conclusions. I would like to thank you for your presence to be here till now. And I will leave 15 minutes for questions for not just me, but all from my colleagues. Please. Yes, please.
So it was interesting to see the graphics that you showed from Pachi something that
Yeah.
was showing. Yeah, that one.
That one.
So finally, the Pocityf energy building
Yes.
has quite a lot of embodied energy, even though it's I mean, that you have to remove the positive energy, right?
Yes.
But even though it's quite high, so I think this is why this is the point of the rest of the session or the project, right? So having this
Exactly.
efficient in use buildings have
Exactly.
a very high embodied energy limit, right?
Yeah, would be nice to have this point on here. When we
Or
annually.
in the
Yeah, for sure would be really nice to have not embodied anything here. It is more easy in terms of CO2 emissions because we can play with avoided CO2 emissions when you summarize let's say, the savings in terms of energy.
Mhm.
In this project, we will try to develop some kind of framework to play with those savings in terms of avoided. In CO2 emissions, you can be here. In terms of energy, it's quite difficult. But in the end, if you go down, at least you compensate what you put embodied in the energy. But that is the goal. Let's say if you put the focus on the different projects developed by the European Union, we started with the low energy building, nearly zero energy buildings, and now we are in a positive energy buildings. But we don't need to, let's say, forget about the embodied of both CO2 and energy. Plays an important role, and next calls to put the focus there. So we need to be prepared, or at least aware that that will come.
So the project objective is not only to go the left in the x
No.
axis, but going down in
Exactly.
the
Our idea is to going down. To going down,
Just to see.
not increasing so much the embodied energy.
Mhm, okay.
Okay. Please.
Uh,
No, you.
Yes, perfect. Just a question concerning when you're looking at local suppliers,
Yes.
do you take also in consideration particularly the suppliers of those suppliers? Because if they come from China, most of the times things can come from very far away. We have a problem, for example, for bio-based compound for insulation materials, but at the end there is no production
At
in
local
Europe.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good question. This happens with insulation, as you say, and others with plastic and metals, the same, because more materials come from outside Europe. You can control those boundaries. So in this case, environmental route declarations can help on that because are based on the life cycle assessment of the product. So at least you account those emissions or impact. But yeah, this is true. In this project, we are trying to have local producers. In this case, we are working in Zaragoza with local ones, but for sure, those raw materials, not all are local. Yeah, this is kind of the next step to work with only local suppliers, which will be good. Yeah. In this case, probably we will assure that our reductions at least are controlled, and we can decide on that. Yeah. Yes,
Other questions? Do you have any kind of database from the municipality on the waste you could reuse?
No. There is another project called Rinno. It's in Zaragoza also. They are trying to do that. Like a database of the different construction and demolition waste, but also with non-construction demolition, like post-consumption plastics, or even also organic. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of initiatives, but the municipalities, at least Zaragoza, don't have any platform. Would be nice. Yeah.
It's key for this purpose, yeah, to know what I have available to use, to reuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Does anyone want to comment? Yes, please.
Yes, I really like this graph because it kind of explains a bit where we need to find the optimum of between the embodied carbon and energy emissions. And I think also looking at this carbon emission more on the lifetime is also useful to see all the peaks at dawn and September. So for instance, here it's a weighted, I think, examples where in some projects we really look at the whole overall carbon, especially for renovation. So when, for instance, every number of years you have a peak in embodied carbon, how that's kind of an effect on the.
But how you do that? With monitoring systems or?
Yeah, with NCA tools. So we estimate based on the design scenarios of the renovation.
Yeah.
But I think what we find difficult, and would like to know your opinion, that is how to calculate the embodied carbon for all these new technologies, the PV systems and integrated systems that often are not yet there with EPD availability. So it's kind of difficult to really get those numbers in the process, and then you cannot really inform
the real impact. Yes, this is something that at least at the European level happen in our project, that many of these companies with innovative elements, facades and things like that, roof insulations, bio-based ones, doesn't come with the information. So at least during the project, we do like a small life cycle assessment for the tools that we use and so on. But we try to push them to, at least locally, because there are local suppliers about LCA assessments and so on, at least try to use this European support to pay or to subcontract those assessments. I don't know any European, let's say, topic or something like that to push some innovative solution on how to select them to develop those life cycle assessments. Will be nice. In this case, at least at local level or partners, we try to push them to have this information, because otherwise it's impossible to have these numbers. Yeah, but this is a gap in terms of energy.
Yeah, because you could clarify more on what's the impact of these solutions when you see. And of course, I would expect that for the new technology would be quite high embodied carbon.
For sure. This is happening with the bio-based. I'm sorry that I pointed you because you mentioned the bio-based things. It happens with other projects that the bio-based solutions has more impact than the conventional ones. If you put the focus on CO2, could be that. But if you put the focus in other impacts, land use or fossil depletion or something like this, it's the opposite. So we are working some prioritization and some hierarchy process to just not focus on CO2, but also try to put other indicators with the AHP solution, ANP, trying to put one single number, let's say of sustainability number, that takes into account some weights, a weighting process. Yeah, because
example, in INCUBE, since we are developing innovative solutions as well in the HVAC systems, the European Commission requests from us an LCA of these solutions. So they are requesting raw materials, raw data, in order to estimate this life cycle of these integrated and new elements that we are already.
Yeah, so it's part of the project.
Yeah,
right?
this part of the program, at least at this level, yes. But regular, normal market. This is I will talk with many companies here in Spain, and they are not aware about. They say, what is life cycle assessment, or for what we need to calculate this. But if you want to play in this kind of projects, at least you need to be conscious about this. Yes. Thank you. Yes, please.
Another question, sorry. Was very happy to see that when you were looking at positive energy buildings, you were also thinking about the part of insulation first and then monetary energy.
Yes.
Will you have time to do more or less, to calculate what will be more or less the saving with the transferring increasing the efficiency and then adding after the system, or is
Yes. If you put the picture of Zaragoza, maybe it's more, yeah, the previous one. Okay, here those buildings are quite old. They are from the 80s. So from the beginning, from the proposal phase, one objective was to reduce 50% of the energy demand. So to reduce that, we need to change windows, or we need to put insulation on all the facade, external insulation, and also we need to put an insulation in the roof. There are some in the basement. We need to put more insulation. So we are not going to act inside the houses because will be great to put some radiant floors at least, and to change to aerothermal energy. But at least at this level, we are working to first try to reduce as much as possible the energy demand, and then proceed with the positive solution.
Okay, and you will be able to more or less have the data of the first phase
Yeah.
and the data of the second phase.
Yeah, we are now on the design of the refurbishment, and the second phase will be how works the positive energy district. Yeah, but this is mandatory for the project, and from the proposal phase that we need to work on reduce the demand building. Yeah, so this is the first part. For sure, in Zaragoza and all over Spain, we have a lot of old buildings. So first we want to refurbish them, and then to act in the energy supply. Yeah. But the bad thing is we don't have so much energy districts as in other countries. So this is a gap in terms of the thermal part, which is the most consuming energy in Spain. Because we are not putting right now the focus on cooling. Cooling is kind of a luxury here. But it is start for new buildings, start working with radiant floors, with pre-cooling and so on. But at least for the old, we are at this level. Yeah. Does someone want to comment more? So I hope you have enjoyed this session. Please contact us if you need more information about this project. And if you want to collaborate in some way, also we are open to be in contact. And hope you enjoyed this dinner tonight in Madrid. You're very welcome. Thank you very much.